Hey there, hello and welcome. It's Madeline here. Haven't seen you guys in a while, but I'm happy to be back with you. And I'm coming live tonight. Let me fix my camera a little bit for you there. Hopefully that's better for you. So I'm coming live to you tonight because, hey there, because a couple of you have reached out to me. Hey, Nikki. Good to see you, girl. Have reached out to me asking about whether or not your employer can make you get the jab. Okay, the shot. I'm going to try not to say that other word that starts with that letter. And here I am, right? So I had this conversation with a loved one over the weekend. And essentially, and all the headlines, right? Not all the headlines, but a lot of the headlines now are saying that your employer, news, EEOC says that your employer can make you get the jab. So first of all, my lovelies, headlines are meant to grab your attention, right? Usually, and especially these days, headlines are made to grab your attention. These days, send you into fear response and get you to dive into the story, right? So dive into the story and see what it says, right? Because again, headlines are bullshit and they're just trying to grab your attention. And I have seen a lot of headlines, many of which you, my loves, have sent to me saying your employer, EEOC, which is the Executive Office of Economic something or other. Anyway, they're the people that protect the workplace, right? And that's the key, right? They don't create laws. The EEOC doesn't create laws. They are there to protect your rights in the workplace, okay? So they establish guidelines and they're there to be your advocate. So can employers make you get the jab? No, they cannot. Can they make it a policy of their workplace? Sure. Can they make you do it? No. Can they make it a requirement for employment and terminate you or fire you for not getting the jab? No, right? Employers must, if your employer has the audacity to require the jab, any jab, particularly this latest jab that is going around, the experimental shot, right? It's experimental biological agent, and it's not even your traditional vaccine, I'm going to call it, okay? We know that it's not that. It's modifying your genetic makeup, okay? And I've done other lives on that. I really want to get into that today, right? It's not what they say it is. And your employer cannot make you get it, okay? If your employer has incorporated getting the shot as a part of its employment policies, it must, according to constitutional law, according to according to the Civil Liberties Act of 1964 and the Constitution, right? The Privacy Amendment 4 of the Constitution, your employer must, I quote, make reasonable accommodations for workers who cannot or will not get injected due to religious reasons, medical reasons, or pregnancy, okay? So, and if you don't want to get the shot, well then you have one of those reasons, right? If you have philosophical reasons, that could be a sincere religious belief, right? It's not up to your employer or the government to tell you what your religion is, okay? So you have an out, right? Perhaps you have a medical condition that will preclude you from getting this type of medical intervention. Anyway, you have an out and you can use it. Also, again, I want to stress that even if your employer is requiring this as a part of their employment policies, they must, I'm going to repeat this, they must make reasonable accommodations for workers who can't or won't get the medical intervention, right? It's not for religious reasons, for disability. ADA, the American with Disabilities Act, protects those who have disabilities that preclude them from getting this type of thing, or pregnancy. Oh my goodness. Ladies, if you are expecting or your loved ones are expecting or want to get pregnant someday, I highly recommend that you do not go down this jab route. So they must accommodate these exemptions. They must, by law, accommodate these exemptions, okay? And there are organizations out there, Peggy Hall's, the healthyamerican.org is one of the places where, you're welcome, Tanya, is one of the places where you can get documents if your employer is requiring a note from a rabbi or a religious person or a medical doctor, particularly the religious exemption. Peggy Hall, again, at the healthyamerican.org has documents for that. She also has a vast supply of free resources and also classes on this type of information for short money where you can dive deep into this sort of thing. So the short answer is no, your employer cannot mandate this. Not only can they not mandate, this is approved for emergency use, and now news reports are saying that even it doesn't even meet the emergency use requirement, right? This is some bad stuff. And as a result, pharmaceutical companies are not responsible for any injury or death as a result of taking the jab. However, if your employer mandates it, so if you want to take the jab, but you're concerned that the pharmaceutical companies aren't responsible for any adverse reactions to include death, if your employer requires it, then your employer is responsible for any adverse reactions or death through workers' comp, right? Their workers' comp would go up because they required it as a requirement of employment. But again, you can refuse. For most of you listening, I believe under the religious exemption, okay? And they cannot give you a hard time about this, okay? Title VII of the Civil Liberties Act protects us from a harassment-free workplace, right? Protects us to have a harassment-free workplace. So employers must accommodate exemptions. However, here's the rub, my lovelies. You must say no. You must stick up for yourself, right? So I've had several loved ones saying, because I just said employers cannot make you do it. And my friends and family are saying, but they are. They are because we let them, okay? Here's where you need to stand up for yourself, right? I can't go to your employer and stick up for you. You need to stick up for yourself. You must have the courage to say, no, I will not take the jab. This is an experimental biological agent, and or I have a religious exemption, I have a philosophical exemption, and you can get documents from organizations like Peggy Hall's, and there are other organizations out there that will help you get documentation to help you stand up to your employer or whoever is pushing you to get the jab. Okay. Additionally, I'm hearing from you that your coworkers, your family members, your loved ones are also applying the pressure. And I get it, right? And you may be feeling alone. I know that this community, may be feeling alone because we're not the mainstream. Well, we are the mainstream, but we're not in the mainstream narrative because Big Pharma is controlling the big mainstream narrative, quite frankly. So it's up to us to stick together. So if you're in my group, we're in my group, I'm live in my group now. I applaud you for being here. We can talk about these things privately. If you're not in my group, I invite you to join my group. I'll put the link below. And it's important to be a part of a community, right? So I have a private community outside of Facebook where we can work together and we can build our courage, our strength, our knowledge, our power, our mind, body, and emotional power to combat what's going on in the world today, okay? So I know that personally, sometimes I feel alone, right? So I have communities that I belong to that build me up and lift me up and help me build my mental strength and emotional resolve. And I want to be that source, that resource for you as well. So if you're interested in that, PM me and we can talk about how we can work together outside of Facebook in a private, loving community where we can learn and grow together, commune, and connect with each other and connect with God, quite frankly, and build our strength and mental and emotional stability to keep us sane in this world that has presumably gone very, very mad. So there you have it, my lovelies. No, your employer cannot make you get the jab. Yes, you do need to stick up for yourself. You do need to say no. And if we all said no, all this madness would end like that. But we need to say no. I can appreciate that that can be challenging. I have a lot of courage, and it's challenging for me every day on a daily basis. And if you need a dose of my courage, again, I invite you to PM me and we can talk about how we can commune together outside of social media and grow our community, our courage, our resolve, and our mental, emotional, and spiritual strength together. So, and love and support one another. You're welcome, Shannon. I hope this serves you. So, my darlings, I hope this serves you. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'm going to talk about shedding soon, okay? So look for that. And I hope this serves you. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. And until then, I will see you in the gap. Namaste. Be blessed. Mwah.